Purpose. My name is Zach Ballinger. I am your host. Thank you guys so much for joining. We've got a great guest. If you are listening via YouTube, hit that subscribe button. There's no charges or anything, but your videos will pop up in your feed more often, and that's something you'll get to used to. Follow us on our social media channels, zachballinger.com. All of them are listed there. Jocelyn, thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Zach.
Yeah, I want to talk to you because I have a lot of students that get excited about the career of acting, whether they're in high school or college. Theater may interest them. And I know that's kind of your background, and we'll dive into that today at first. So, first, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then after that, I know it's kind of a loaded question, but tell us about yourself. And then tell us a little bit about acting, the career.
Okay, good. Well, I was raised in an artist community on the Hudson River, up on the Hudson River Valley above New York. So I was raised with around all kinds of artists, from painters to dancers to choreographers to writers. And my father was an actor. I was started out on Broadway, and then television exploded in the 50s. And they brought all those actors from Broadway out to do all the other parts, not the starring roles, but the other parts, because they didn't have enough in LA. Television was literally exploding. So I grew up around actors and all kinds of artists. I became an actress. I acted for a number of years. I can't say that I loved the life of an actor. Living that life is very difficult, but I also had a calling to teach. And I started teaching actors 30 years ago. I've had ongoing classes. And then I started working with movie stars. So I have taught everyone from beginners who've never set foot on stage before and taken them all the way to starring in their own series. And I've taught, Academy Award winners. So I've been around that field for a long time. And what is acting? What was the next part of that question?
Yeah, just the career in acting, kind of what does it look like? A lot of students say, do I need to go to college? What do I need to do after high school? Things like
Yeah. Well, you need to study. If you're a musician, you have an instrument and you can practice at home. If you're an actor, you need to be on stage. You need to work with other people. And of course, the best place to do that is on stage. Even in an acting class, I always have theaters that, actors work out on stage, even if they don't intend to be Broadway actors or theater actors. So you have to practice. And it's a difficult career, and I will tell you what I feel the absolute most important components are. They are not talent. The most important thing is attitude, because it's a difficult thing. So you have to really love it, and you have to really want it, and you have to be able to keep a positive attitude. Otherwise, you're just going to be slammed by, rejection. Um, I've worked with so many different kinds of actors, and many of them will go to Atlanta, or sometimes they work in Canada a little bit more, but they'll go outside LA to work because it's too hard to get work in LA. The industry is changing every day. What used to be easy is not so easy anymore. So the most important thing is that you love it and you must do it, because then there'll always be something for you to enjoy. You'll get a small play. You'll find a good teacher. You'll love the process. And, of course, you have to work at it every day. You have to work at your own administration. You have to have, now you have to have social media. So there's all kinds of different things that you can be doing every day. I mean, these are all steps. If you think of them like, oh my God, I have to do this and this and this and this, go find something you're not going to go, oh my God, at, because you have to love it enough to say, okay, well, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and I can do that. So it's about having a dream and then taking steps toward it every single day.
so when we're peeling back the onion and
Yeah.
we're looking at the career of acting, what makes it so difficult? You said it's really tough. Explain that.
Well, you have to find a door in. So with my students, I always have a waiting list. So I interview every single student, and I only take students with the best attitude because they're going to use their imagination to find a way in. Everybody knows you have to have, your card, you have to have your union cards, and you have to get your first jobs or under five, and then you graduate to like a little featured part, maybe have 7 lines, and then you graduate to co-star and then star. You kind of go up the ladder in television, or you get a big break in film. What I counsel actors is to do theater, to do small theater and become the best actor you can be, and then invite people to come and see you be the best actor that you can be, and then they will hire you, they will bring you in. And then there's the administration of acting. So if you get, an appointment and you're called in for an audition, you keep that person's name and you send them a thank you note. And it is a life, and because that's an action you can take. You can develop your relationships. You can stay in touch with them. Then the next time you get a job, you send them a little, card saying, "Oh, I'm going to be on this show and such a time." So it's really about having the best attitude to get your foot in the door. You make other friends, they tell you their success stories. But if you can't keep a positive attitude, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of these people because I live right in the city of Atlanta.
Mhm.
And when I take an Uber, a lot of them, when they're having conversations with me, will mention that they are in an actors guild or maybe we're working out at the gym together. So, talk to me about the financials of it. Somebody graduates from college, they move to Atlanta, probably not going to make $1 million your first year, landing a big acting role. What does your life kind of look like during that period?
Well, you have to support yourself. You have 2 jobs. If you're an actor, you have 2 jobs. One is your acting career, and the other is what's going to put food on your plate. And I always say, "Don't make the food on the plate, it can't make too much money, or then you will, say, 'Well, the money is hard to let go,' so you won't be working so hard at your acting career." I know I have a number of students right now who have moved to Atlanta because remember I was talking about the tiers of acting jobs. So when a Hollywood production goes to Atlanta to shoot, they will hire locals. It's to their benefit to hire locals for all the smaller parts, as many of those parts as they can. And often actors will travel to a place to be hired as a local because it's easier to get hired as a local. So there's a whole tier of work to be had there. And if they started in LA and they've built up some credits, then when they go to Atlanta to do this, then they go, oh, well, they have credits already. So sometimes it's better to start in LA, sometimes it's better to start in Atlanta, but you're going to need another job. That's why waiters, Uber drivers and waiters, they're very in LA, every other waiter is an actor because it's good money. It's great money, and you know it's good work. It's respectful work.
And you mentioned something because I'm on the career development side where I try to help people in their career find something that they maybe not like right now or take them to something that they do like or help them with a job interview, whatever that career development umbrella looks like. And from our conversation, just briefly, it sounds like acting is a lot about networking.
It is. It is. It's a lot about networking, and it's a lot about building your own business. If you're an actor and you those days, those stories of having coffee at the local coffee shop and the casting person coming in saying, "I must have you," that is not going to happen. That is just not going to happen. Building an acting career is really building a business, and particularly now, even more so than when I was acting, people were still going out and discovering people. Now you have to go out and insist that you are discovered. And in auditions now, the actor has to put themselves on tape. So they get an audition, they have to put themselves on tape. That's a whole expanding thing that didn't exist before. It existed a little bit before the pandemic, but then the pandemic came and it was like, and I know actors who are putting themselves on tape for, 4 auditions a day. It's a job. It's a full-on job, and that's why you have to have a great attitude. You have to love it. You have to love it, and you have to believe in it, and you have to imagine. I saw a TEDx talk that you did, and this career development thing, and it is about imagination. It is about asking yourself. You ask a question, I ask very much the same question in the book, which is, if you could have anything you want in this world, barring all obstacle, what would that be? What would that be? You deserve to answer that question. And one of the things that you do, which I love, is you don't answer that question right away. You develop that question. And I talk about asking that question over the course of weeks, maybe months, maybe a year, until something moves in you. And what I'm about is inspiration, because actors have a technique and that's wonderful. But what elevates acting to art is that you give it something, you endow it with something that comes in, an inspiration that comes in, and you have an idea, and you use technique to put that in your acting, and then nobody's going to be like you, because that's your idea, that's your discovery. So that when we ask questions, and when the answer comes in that's exciting for acting, for your career, for your life path, it moves in you. Your heart beats a little faster. Your stomach turns over a little bit. When that happens, you're on something. You're onto something very important.
Thank you for that. That's very encouraging and inspirational. This is very fascinating so far. I've learned a lot. Let me ask you this: what's your philosophy on this? And the reason why, let's say there's a college student out there, they get their theater degree, they move to Atlanta, they move to LA, they move to New York. They have their aspirations set on being an artist. Do they give themselves a timeline? Or do you tell your clients just to go as far as you can go? And then when you burn out, because let's face it, a lot of the people that I've met, they get, after a while, they're like, I haven't made it to where I want to be. So I need to do something else, whether that's a real estate agent. They find a passion for that and they start selling houses and do that full time and they kind of walk away from it. Or some people just they don't find it. How do you guide clients through that? Do you give them a timetable or do you just say, go for
Never,
it if you can?
never. I would never give anybody a timetable. You know, Listen, I believe there's an artist in everybody, but actors who are, moving in their career, they want to act. I want to be an actor. They've declared this. They've gone to school and they've gone to Juilliard, or they've gone to no school at all. They've done every little piece of theater they can. If you want to be an actor, there is no timeline. I tell actors, don't say you want to be an actor. It's not like I want to be an actor. No, I am an actor because I do the things that actors do every day. I am a musician because I practice my flute every day. I am a songwriter because I write songs every day. I'm a writer because I write every day. You are what you do. And when you believe in that and you have a love for that, I promise you, things will come into your life that say, make a right turn here, go to that audition, pick up this newspaper. There's something in it for you, this trade paper that has some audition in it for you. You get ideas when when your attitude is positive. I'm going to be a little, woohoo here, but when your attitude is positive, your vibration is higher. When you're an actor and you're grateful to call yourself an actor and live the life of an actor, no matter where you are in your career or no matter how long you've been at that level in your career, things are going to come in. Things are going to help you. You just and you stay a higher vibration. You're grateful. Things will come in. If you're complaining and whiny about it, nothing's going to come in. Nobody wants to get me the whiny guy. That whiny guy who came in. I want the whiny guy. Not going to happen.
You obviously were a very successful actor in your career. When I talk to students, a lot of their challenge is the outside. What do I mean by that? Is that mom and dad love them, but they're like, "Are you really going to go do this? Why don't you get a real job?" Did you ever hear that back then? Did you ever get any pushback from family or friends? And how do you coach your clients to block out that noise? Hey, go get a 9 to 5. What are you doing struggling? Do you ever hear this?
Oh, all the time. This is belief in self. This is, we're not educated to believe in ourselves. So we don't know how to shut that noise out. All you need as a teacher, I spent a lot of time, telling students that, it's your life. You're grown up now. You get to live the life that you want to live. Oh, my mom is worried about me, and I go, that's fine. Maybe don't talk to mom about your acting. If she's not going to be supportive, talk to your mom about her garden because she's really happy when she talks about her garden. We're responsible again when we involve ourselves with people that we know are going to say, why, people say the weirdest stuff to actors. They say things like, why don't you get bigger jobs? Why don't you work more often? Do you want to star in movies? It's like, of course, everybody wants to star in movies. Everybody wants bigger jobs. Everyone wants to work more. And in terms of successful careers, I know very successful people that don't feel they're as successful as the other guy. So the measuring doesn't help much. I always say to my students, you're not the greatest actor in the world, and you're not the worst actor in the world. You're somewhere in the middle. So stop measuring. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you proceed, that you do take actions toward your acting every day, and that you keep your attitude very positive.
and and we'll get to your book, and but for your course, do you teach the students how to bid on jobs? I hear that a lot. Like, do the jobs offer a certain amount of money? Can they negotiate? Is that a part of your contract? It kind of gets kind of tricky, I think, for a lot of them. Like, how much should I be paid? At what rate? Can you walk
Yeah,
me through
that's pretty that's pretty handled by unions. You're either in a union or you're not in a union. Your first job is to get in the union. And I mentioned in the book, my students are always like, how do I get in the union? The beginning students. And I go, how do I get in the union? I go, I don't know. How do you think you get in the union? That's your first goal is how to get in the union. Go discover how to get in the union. You don't have to be told. Go ask other actors. Use your Google search. How do I get into Screen Actors Guild? They'll give you all kinds of ideas. Nobody's going to hand this out to you. If you're while you're not in the union, and while you're discovering how to get in the union so you can get those first union jobs, do other things, do non union things. There are trade magazines that have non union things. There's no real bidding. In non union jobs, you might not get paid much at all. A lot of people work for free in the beginning. A lot of people do work with like AFI, film schools, film acting students, not acting, directing students who need actors. And that's a great way to get, because those are the directors of the future. So, USC and AFI and LA, these are the places that train filmmakers. So, great place for actors to get their first opportunities on film. Make films. Anyone can make a film now. You pick up a telephone and make movies. So you can make your own films. You're learning about cutting, you're learning about editing. It really There's a need for an actor to propel himself and educate himself and believe that he can do it, because there is no right or wrong way to do anything. There's only the desire to do it, and what are the steps you're going to take to make it happen.
You've written a great book. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, artist, I'm going to show it to you. Shall I show it to you? Would that be okay?
Love it.
This is Artist, Awakening the Spirit Within. This is a book, while I was, here's the thing, when you train actors, There's a technique. There is a technique to training actors, and I can't really tell you the whole technique now, but I take beginning actors all the way through this technique, starting from, where am I? And using a place. Most actors, they're just saying the words. They're just saying the words with as much emotion as they can. But acting is juggling. It's saying the words, but it's also having the thoughts of the character. And it's also behaving, doing things with, involving yourselves in behaviors. I always say behavior tells the story, because how you do the thing shows what you're feeling inside. So acting is juggling a number of different things. So first I give actors technique, and then we talk, which is usually in a series of questions, and then we talk about this impulse, this inspiration, and making it personal and connecting to things outside yourself and bringing those into the work. And at some point, I knew I was going to write a book. And at some point, I realized, well, everyone's an artist because their first masterpiece is their life. Your life is yours to create the way you want to. It's not your parents, it's not your teachers, it's your life to create the way you want to. So when I wrote the book, I decided to write it using the same techniques I give actors, but for anyone who is seeking to find their purpose in life, to find their passion in life, to believe in that, and to be given steps and exercises that would help them accomplish it. And they're pretty simple steps and exercises. I don't want to get too complicated about it. But I wanted to write it for, that young girl in the inner city who wants to be a singer, and she sings in the shower and she's taking care of her, working to help the family. And that she might read this book and say, oh, yes, I can do this and I can do that. And I believe in myself. And I really do want to be a singer. And I really do want it this much, you know. So yeah, I think there's an artist in everyone. And even if you're creating a life and you're going to be the best shoemaker in the world, we need to go back to, working with our hands, to reading books, because they encourage the imagination. And the imagination is really important in creating your own life. You have to imagine it. You can have anything you can imagine, you can have, as long as you can imagine it, identify it, and take steps toward it. And that's really what the book is about.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes for you guys. So don't worry if you're out there listening on the audio. Everything will be right there posted in all of our show notes as always. Now, Jocelyn, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have social media? What's the best route if you do? You have a website, anything like
I
that?
do. I have a website, which is jocelynjonesstudio.com. And I have an Instagram account, which has a number of things on it, jocelynjonesstudio.com. On both of those sites, you'll see that I have a masterclass coming up. That's a 16-part masterclass for actors that's coming out the end of September. And we're very excited about that. It's taken a couple years now to edit.
And when we have a little bit extra time, but the master class, it's designed for someone that wants to be an artist, correct? That's trying to hone in on their craft. And you go ahead. I would love to learn more about it, just so that.
Well, it is that. It is that. And also because, we talked a little earlier about classes and the nature of them. And, there's some acting classes that are not very healthy, frankly. And, I've heard a lot about them recently, certain teachers, but yeah. And also now we have these television series that just make acting teachers look like the fools. And, it's sort of embarrassing. So that's not what acting class is at all. Beyond Juilliard, there are good teachers. And, in this class, when someone studies with me, the expectation is that they bring a scene to class exactly as if they were arriving on set. So they have to do everything they know how to do to the scene. Otherwise, I can't give them a critique on, I'll end up giving them a critique on what they knew, but they didn't take the time to do it. So I'm kind of strict in that way. So in this master class, you see these passionate, wonderful, beautiful working actors many of whom you'd recognize on series. And they do 10, 15-minute scenes, and they're like small pieces of theater. And then they sit in the chair and then they tell me what they worked on, because it's very important that you can identify, I wanted this, I wanted this, I wanted this. And then I can tell them, you got this, you got this, you got this. I want to tell them what they're doing right, as well as what they can do to improve. I've worked with a number of movie stars, and they tend to not be trained. And that's kind of a secret, that they haven't been trained. And so they're insecure about that. And I go, there's nothing for you to be insecure about. You're doing so many things right. That's why you have the career that you have. So let's identify what you're doing right, and then I can show you some techniques to get to some other places with it. But it's very important for actors to know what they're doing right, so they can repeat those successful actions over and over again. So we also have exercises, and we have dance, and we have uh, interviews, so you get to know each and every actor. We interview them in clips, and uh, it's I'm just very thrilled with it. I've never seen anything like it, and really, we did it because I wanted to show what an acting class can be. This is what an acting class can be. It can be very supportive. It can involve technique. Actors work this hard. They have this kind of camaraderie. It's the happiest acting class you've ever seen. We have a trailer of it on the website, and they're just beaming. They're so happy. I think one of the reasons they're happy is that I'm on a little hiatus from teaching, because I'm promoting the book and the film. And so they had this 8-week master class, and they were like, we're in class again, because they've all studied with me for years. So, um, acting class can be a very, very healthy place. And you should know that, it has to be supportive. You need to find a really supportive teacher who loves actors and who wants to, help them move along a little more quickly. One of the things I say in that class is, nobody can teach you anything really, because if you didn't already know it, you wouldn't recognize it. What we can do is kind of lift the veil off, and you go, oh, because, when you're taught something, there's always this, oh, there's that aha moment. That's the moment when you recognize it. So I feel teachers are there to support, they're there to help things move along. In an acting class, it has to be about the actor, not the teacher.
This has been great. A lot of people come to me and ask me about this career. I think this is really going to be helpful for a lot of people out there that are listening that are maybe interested in this particular type field, because I encourage everybody to do something that they really enjoy doing. We got one shot at this, and why not go ahead and do what we like to enjoy doing, and while fulfilling what we want to fulfill in life. So thank you for joining the show. We know you're very busy. You've got obviously a lot of things going on. For you to come on my show and give back to my audience really means a lot. I think we share a lot of the same values and things around the career development side. So, on behalf of my audience, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Zach, very much. It's been an honor to be here.
And guys, like I said, everything's going to be in the show notes. What she talked about, her courses, the book, everything's going to be right there. So you can click on that, go and follow her on her Instagram, and go to the website. Guys, thanks for joining. Until next time, this is the Zach Ballinger Show.